Welcome to our final strategy in the series, The 5 Strategies of Financially Successful Small Business Owners. Number 5, protect your wealth. The purpose of protecting your wealth is to watch over the lifestyle you work so hard to create for yourself and your family. It's the culmination of time, energy, focus, and the determination you committed to do for so many years. While money can't buy you happiness, the lack of money can certainly make your life miserable. Business owners in the 2% Club don't take unnecessary risks in their wealth because they don't want to jeopardize their lifestyle, their happiness, and their sense of well-being. The successful 2% Club member has 4 central wealth protection concerns. Understand your entrepreneurial appetite for risk-taking. Create a contingency plan. Protect yourself against theft, and create an estate plan that accomplishes the 3 P's: property, people, and process. Let's begin with understand your appetite for risk-taking. When it comes to financial security, the rule for entrepreneurs is don't mess it up. The last thing you want to do is take a step backwards and lose what you worked so hard to gain. The risk-taking nature of entrepreneurs often makes them their own worst enemy when it comes to their financial assets. Not long ago, we had one client who sold his company, walking away with a net of $3 million. As we progressed through the sale, he had told us he was planning to retire and live on the proceeds of the sale, doing some occasional low-risk consulting work from time to time. But his entrepreneurial spirit wasn't so easily squelched. About 6 months later, he came back to us and told us he was thinking of taking his $3 million and put it back into another startup venture. Every client is different and outcomes always vary, but in this case, we had to advise against sinking the entire $3 million back into the startup phase. Here was a client who had already successfully gone through the steps to joining the 2% Club and was suddenly looking to start all over again. Only now his circumstances had changed. He was older, with more responsibilities and less earning years in front of him. What would happen to his family while he was dumped back into the mostly feast or famine roulette of the startup phase? What if he got sick and needed to pay hospital bills? Or was unable to put in the time that was required of the rigorous process of starting up a business? And what were the odds that he would be able to rejoin the 2% Club again at the end of it all? The odds are, you guessed it, about 2%. Another client found this out the hard way when he sunk his entire sale proceeds into a real estate venture at the wrong time. When the markets imploded in 2008, he went bankrupt, all because he failed to heed the same advice that got him to the top in the first place. He put too much of his assets at risk. In this situation, a 2% Club member would not have put any more than 20% of their assets into the new venture. This would be protection in the event of a catastrophic failure. Unfortunately, the same can't be said of this client, who put himself in the position of having to try to recover from bankruptcy at the age of 60, which is no easy feat. If you can engage in a little self-reflection and override your entrepreneurial appetite for risk, you will find that staying business savvy doesn't mean you have to hang up your hat for good. Let's share Mac's story. Unlike the last 2, this has a happy ending. Mac is a 2% Club member who made his fortune in the rare coins and precious metals business. He worked hard, lived well within his means, and had amassed a personal net worth of $3 million outside of his business. When it came time to sell his business, he was able to sell it for $1 million, bringing his assets up to $4 million. He was now ready to walk away from the daily grind, but not away from his entrepreneurial spirit. He had built a small cabin by a peaceful lake where he liked to go on his vacations. His plan was to take his 10% of his $4 million and build a shop with all the right equipment right there on his property where he could manufacture barbecues on a small scale. A hobby of his that he wanted to turn into a small business to keep him busy during retirement. Instead of going all in and risk losing it all, Mac was able to satisfy his entrepreneurial appetite while still maintaining his safety net. Entrepreneurs have no trouble at all putting all their assets at risk. But successful members of the 2% Club set aside enough financial assets to maintain financial security and use the other designated assets for risk-taking. This keeps them from losing the financial security they have established. Your spouse will love you for taking this step, especially if your spouse values financial security more than you do. The next area of focus, create a contingency plan. What will happen to your business if you die or are unable to work? Business contingency planning can be as simple as a one-page backup plan stating your wishes. This is different from exit planning to a certain extent, because whether we like it or not, we're all going to eventually exit our business, but not always in a clean-cut sale or succession plan. In this case, you'll need to have a plan that assures your continuity of your business and assets in the event that you are no longer alive or able to run your business. This includes a definitive plan for who should continue your duties in your absence. A buy-sell agreement is an important document, especially if you have co-owners. More importantly, the buy-sell agreement should be funded and based on a frequently updated valuation or valuation formula, because as you know, small business values vary more than the stock market. Protecting yourself against theft from people in positions of trust. Potentially the most unpleasant area of vulnerability to address is one that nobody likes to think about. But as our case studies have proven, avoidance isn't the best strategy for getting ahead. Each year, it's an unfortunate truth that many businesses are significantly impacted by some type of financial fraud perpetrated by a trusted employee. We've heard it from business owners over and over again. My bookkeeper can't steal from me. I'm the only one with signature authority on the checking account. Well, the bad news is that even signature authority can't keep someone from fraudulent intentions at bay. If you're not the one reconciling the bank accounts or policing the money, you're not going to notice the fraud. Even if you're the only one who signs the checks, what's to keep your signature from being forged? If you're not looking at the ledger, you'll be none the wiser. The fraud can go on for months before it's discovered, but by that time, it could cost your business tens of thousands of dollars. And by the time it's all said and done, the money is difficult to recover. The good news is there's a fairly simple solution, and it's called prevention. Police your money and assets. Look carefully and frequently at what is going on. Consider reviewing copies of checks to see if they make sense. Do surprise inspections by keeping an eye on your money and protecting your wealth. These simple steps can prevent problems such as inventory theft, embezzlement, payroll fraud, and forgery. Your CPA can help you put safeguards in place for your business and spot common warning signs of potential problems. The last area of protection to address is create an estate plan that accomplishes the 3 Ps. For most people, estate planning is not about minimizing estate taxes because most people will not have enough wealth to be subject to the federal estate tax. As a result, estate planning is typically focused on 3 things. What property do you have? Which people do you want to give it to? What processes do we use to make that happen? As a starting point, having properly executed legal documents like a will, healthcare directives, and powers of attorney in place will be necessary. The next step will be to make sure that all of the documentation on each financial account, savings, retirement, investment portfolio, and so on, lines up with those wills and directives. For example, make sure the beneficiary designations on your investment accounts are in line with what you state in your will. If there is a conflict, the beneficiary statements will be followed regardless of what your will instructs. Each type of asset uses a different process to transfer, and having everything correctly lined up in this way can mean the difference between your property falling through a legal loophole and being properly transferred in accordance with your actual wishes. It can also be a good idea to consider a living trust as part of your overall estate plan. A living trust helps your estate avoid probate, which in many cases can take longer to set up. Fees are much higher than a simple will. A living trust is private and can be revocable, and therefore changes nothing when it comes to your taxes. Designating a trustee with whom you feel confident will distribute the assets according to your wishes. There are other probate avoiding mechanisms such as pay-on-death accounts for your bank accounts, transfer on death accounts for marketable securities, transfer on death car registrations, transfer on death deeds for real estate, and deferred tax retirement accounts. In many cases, a will that creates a testamentary trust and has the accompanying healthcare directives and powers of attorney is sufficient to meet your estate planning needs. Your CPA's annual review of your estate planning can help you avoid the annual pitfalls that happen due to changing circumstances and assure that your estate planning meets your people, property, and process wishes. How we can help. The role of your investment advisory representative is to help you protect the value of your business against theft from people in positions of trust, provide tips on increasing the value of your business through a sound exit plan, and review your estate plan to ensure that it will meet your objectives and that the designed process will transfer your property to the people you wish. Guide you in protecting the lifestyle and financial security that you have worked so hard to establish. Joining the 2% Club is not easy. If it were, everyone would do it. But it can be significantly easier when you are getting coordinated advice on all 5 success strategies. If you are financially fit or well on your way to achieving financial independence, it's a good idea to look for an advisor with the right focus who can help you coordinate all 5 of the strategies we discussed here. Don't miss out on wealth building opportunities due to lack of information, focus, or proper guidance, or the lack of the right advisor. You owe it to your employees, your family, and most of all, to yourself to see that your wealth management is done correctly. No doubt you'll be happy you did.